Let me tell you something that most men will never figure out, and it's the reason you keep losing respect in your relationships. You think she doesn't listen because she's emotional or dramatic or unreasonable, but that's not it. She doesn't listen because she doesn't have to. You trained her not to. Every argument, every discussion, every carefully worded explanation, it all taught her one thing: that you'll talk forever, but never act. And once a woman learns that your words don't have weight, it's game over. The beginning of the end. Here's how it starts. You tell her something's bothering you. Maybe it's the way she texts that guy, friend. Maybe it's how she talks to you when she's angry. Maybe it's her going out half naked with her girlfriends every weekend. You bring it up like a man who wants peace, not conflict. You think if you just stay calm and reasonable, she'll understand. You explain, you express, you communicate, and she looks you dead in the eye and says, "You're overreacting. You're controlling. You're insecure." Now you're stuck. Because you think this is a logic problem, so you double down on logic. You try to reason with emotion. You start explaining timelines, examples, patterns. This happened 3 times already, and all she hears is noise. And in that moment, she's not listening anymore. She's watching. She's watching to see if you mean what you say, or if you'll keep talking until she gets her way. When you argue, you kneel. Here's the truth no one wants to say out loud. The moment you start debating with the woman, you hand over your power. Because arguing says, "I need you to understand me." And needing her understanding means needing her approval. It means her emotions dictate your reality. You've just made her the authority. You see, men keep thinking they lose women because they weren't sensitive enough. No, they lose women because they're too willing to explain themselves. Every long talk, every plea, every "please just hear me out" is proof that she's in control of the emotional frame, not you. You can't talk your way into respect. Respect is not requested, it's demonstrated. She doesn't hear words. She feels power. Women don't respond to logic. They respond to energy. They don't follow what you say. They follow what they feel from you. And when you start explaining, justifying, defending, she feels weakness. You think you're showing emotional maturity. What she sees is a man trying to be understood instead of a man who simply is. She tests your frame not because she's evil, but because she has to. It's biological. A woman pushes to see what you'll tolerate because your tolerance tells her how safe she can feel and how much she can get away with. And if all you ever give her are words instead of consequences, she learns that your boundaries are fake, your threats are empty, and your authority is negotiable. Once she senses that, she'll keep pushing, harder, deeper, until there's nothing left of you but apologies and resentment. The power of silence and action. Here's what real strength looks like. She says she's going to Vegas for a bachelorette weekend. You don't like it. You tell her calmly that it crosses your boundaries. She goes anyway. What do? Most men wait at home, sulking, texting, arguing when she gets back. You vanish. No fight, no speech, no drama. You just disappear for 3 days. When she comes home and starts the performance, "Where were you? Why didn't you text?" You look her in the eye and say, "I thought we were both taking a little time apart. You had your trip, I had mine." That silence, that calm, that's power. You didn't punish her. You didn't beg. You didn't react. You just acted. And in that moment, she feels something she hasn't felt in a long time. Respect. Because you didn't try to convince her to see your value. You showed her what life looks like when you withdraw it. Fear is the real enemy. The reason most men fail is simple. They're terrified of losing her. They confuse attachment with love and weakness with loyalty. They'd rather be disrespected than be alone. So they keep talking, keep explaining, keep hoping that if they just say the right words, she'll finally see how much they care. But she doesn't want to hear how much you care. She wants to feel how much you value yourself. The more scared you are of losing her, the faster she'll lose attraction. Because deep down, she doesn't want a man who chases her emotions. She wants a man who leads his own. When she doesn't listen, it's already over. If you have to repeat herself constantly, if she keeps violating her boundaries, if she laughs when you try to talk about respect, she's already emotionally gone. She's still there physically, but her mind is elsewhere. She's watching you crumble, waiting for you to either enforce your standard or prove that you won't. And when you don't, she quietly files the final verdict in her head. This man's words mean nothing. From that point on, it's just a countdown. The shift you must make. The only way out is to stop trying to fix her behavior and start reinforcing your own. You can't control her actions. You can only control your standards. If she disrespects you, you leave. Not to make her suffer, but to protect your peace. If she crosses a line, you don't argue. You simply stop giving access. You don't raise your voice. You raise your standards. You don't demand respect. You embody it. And the crazy thing? Once you finally stop needing her to listen, she starts to. Because silence backed by strength speaks louder than 1,000 explanations. The paradox of power. Here's the paradox that every strong man learns eventually. The more you're willing to lose her, the less you ever have to. When your self-respect is stronger than your desire for her approval, she feels it. It unsettles her. It awakens her attraction. Because for the first time, she's in the presence of something she can't manipulate a man with emotional sovereignty. And whether she stays or leaves, you win because you stopped fighting for her validation and started living by your values. Stop explaining. Stop debating. Stop trying to make her understand. Your words are negotiable. Your actions are not. Every time you enforce a boundary quietly, you remind her and yourself that respect isn't requested. It's earned. So next time she crosses the line, don't give a lecture. Give silence. Let her meet the consequence of her choice. Because the man who doesn't need to be heard is the man every woman ends up listening to.